Hi guys, in today's video we'll be taking a look at my top 10 fantasy and sci-fi TV couples, starting off with 3 honorable mentions from my wife's list of personal favorites. Jack and Amelia from Jack of All Trades, a truly comedic and fun couple that I wish we had seen more of, more than one season of the show. Moving on to Wash and Zoe Washburn, a modern sci-fi classic couple. And then a couple that actually almost made my own top 10 list. Marguerite and Roxton from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World, a very underappreciated show. Number 10, Tom Paris and B'Elanna Torres. B'Elanna being my favorite character from Voyager, really enjoyed the romance, thought it added a decent element to Voyager, definitely the best romance on the show, and a really just great fun couple that I've always enjoyed. Number 10, Zev and Zev, Bellringer and Kai, both Zevs for different reasons. They both played the characters very differently and had a different take on the relationship between Zev and Kai. If I had to pick one though, Zev 1, Zev with a Z, would be my favorite for sure in the original miniseries episodes and the first couple, but both Zevs are great. Both of them, I really love the dynamic between those relationships. Number 8, Tirana Sazi and Becca Valentine. I've always loved the dynamic between these two, and I think they would be a lot higher if it wasn't for the changes in the show. As the quality of the show went downhill, so did the depiction of their relationship. Number 7, Kathy Frankel and Matthew Sykes. Their relationship was extremely important for the focus of the show and showing the coming together of these two completely different cultures and the idea of the alien society and human society coming together. And the greatest part for me of those mini-series, movie continuations after the cancellation of the series was seeing the progression of their relationship. That was probably my favorite part of that after the first season. Number 6, Deanna Troi and William Riker. This couple was a particularly huge part of my childhood growing up watching The Next Generation. They were, as a kid, my favorite TV couple and just one that I grew up with for years and years until I entered adulthood myself and they finally got married. Took way too long for that to happen, but a great couple that will always stick with me and be a childhood favorite. Number 5, Benjamin Sisko and Cassidy Yates. I loved this relationship. It was a great way of showing the growth of a couple and the trials and tribulations that a couple can go through without being overly dramatic. But speaking of overly dramatic, number 4, Aaron Sun and John Crichton. This is easily one of the most explosive, sexiest roller coaster rides of a relationship that I've ever experienced through a television program. I absolutely love this couple, and to me they have really defined themselves as one of the greatest sci-fi TV couples of all time, and I think that will be one of the elements of this fantastic show that'll never be forgotten. They have really solidified themselves as just one of the most memorable couples on television in general. And it's just such a crazy wild ride over those 4 seasons in Peacekeeper Wars watching this couple, and really just was completely drawn in, especially when they split into the 2 Crichtons and come back together, and just it's a constant emotional toll watching this couple. On the other end of the spectrum, for number 3, if Aaron and John are just a quick, explosive relationship, you have this nice, slow burn, the slow build, the drama of years and years of Kira and Odo. It's just a complete opposite dynamic, and I really love them. To me, one of the greatest payoffs as far as any relationship on TV was this couple right here. Number 2, a couple that the older I get, the more and more I appreciate them, Miles and Keiko O'Brien. Frequently in TV shows, especially ones like these, relationships and the idea of love and couples is focused solely on the getting together and all the drama of dating and couples building, and the payoff at the end is when they get married. That could be a final episode, or that comes in a movie, or that's sort of the end goal, and you never really see the couple beyond that most of the time. And I've loved the O'Briens, and the older I get, the more I appreciate them and the more I love them as a couple, because they were married very early on in the Next Generation, continuing on through Deep Space Nine. Instead of being that couple that you just kind of watch them come together and marriage was the end game, that was really just the beginning, and they were a steady family couple that you watch. You watched family problems rather in a husband-wife issues rather than boyfriend-girlfriend and dating issues and all the drama of different couples. This to me was something that was fairly rare, and I think is still fairly rare in television, and I think it was very well done. I absolutely just love the O'Briens. Moving on to number 1, this was no contest for me. I was watching Deep Space Nine, my favorite show of all time, and then as the show began to progress, my favorite female Star Trek character, who also happens to be one of my all-time celebrity crushes, started to enter a relationship with my favorite male Star Trek character. So my 2 favorite characters on my favorite show of all time, for my favorite franchise of all time, were in a relationship. I cannot explain to you how invested I got in this fictional relationship over the years. I was so in right from the beginning and all about Worf and Jadzia. When this couple got married, I loved that episode. I mean, it was an event at my house for me. Like, Worf and Jadzia getting married were an event, and they are so great because, you know, it's sad that it had to end early, and I do think Ezri gets a short end of the stick. I like to see it more, but I love how for them you got to see both parts of the relationship. You got to see that initial build-up. You got to see more of the John and Aaron type relationship, the build-up, and then you got them to see more of the O'Brien side. You got to see as they were married the first couple years, and got to see this wide range of dynamics of their relationship, and I love them. And I mean, what can be better than your 2 favorite fictional characters coming together as a couple? That's just amazing. You can't beat that. So my number 1 for me, favorite couple for any sci-fi or fantasy TV series, Worf and Jadzia. Enjoyed that video? Make sure you check back. Next week we'll be keeping up with the theme leading up to Valentine's Day of the Season of Love and talking a little bit about celebrity crushes, fictional character crushes, why we have them, and what they can really reveal about your true self, what you can actually learn about yourself by kind of looking back and analyzing why you had these feelings towards fictional characters, celebrities, that type of thing, what it represents. Just kind of an interesting discussion I'd like to have. And right after that, we'll do a video of my personal celebrity crushes, you know, often very defined by specific characters that they played. But I think that could be kind of a fascinating topic, and one where I'd really love to see you guys talk about some of yours, either in comments or definitely like video replies, that type of thing. Again, guys, thanks for watching, and happy almost Valentine's Day.